guess I could speak about my internship experience since it's like the most recent. It occurred from like November to like January. So it sounds like a huge gap, but there was like also like the holiday break from like December. So it was only like 5 weeks. But I think it really does depend on your the internship that you're paired with. But I was at Visor, which is a startup in San Diego, and I think they did an excellent job of, I guess, helping us acclimate to the code base. So they honestly were really hands off because we had 4 interns total. So I guess we kind of like relied on each other a lot to kind of figure things out. But we ended up we first started our tasks by making spec tests for the databases. And at first we were like, all of us cumulatively had no idea what was going on. We had no idea why things were named some things. Some legacy was really bad where like some things were just like not named semantically. It was really, really crazy. But I think a good lesson in that is learning to work well with your internship partners. Some people sometimes you'll intern by yourself, but if you're with people, definitely use each other as tools to kind of figure things out together. And by us writing the spec tests, just tests for the database, it really helped us understand the app so much more. There are like so many relationships to the app, but us writing tests and seeing how these things are supposed to work really helped us understand a lot. And we ended up doing spec tests maybe like a week and a half. And I think that was enough to really understand a lot of the code base. So I think it was good pacing there.
I have inside knowledge because before I was working at Circle CI, I was an instructor at Learn. So I've been a student and an instructor and then beyond. So as a student, like I totally feel that same kind of apprehension where you're like, how am I going to learn it in a month? Like, how am I going to accomplish anything in a month? And I would like to say that Learn does a really good job at pairing people with a company that's going to be good for them and vice versa. Like they are going to mesh well. I have been on the other side of the process of like companies interviewing with the students and then us discussing it because the instructors, as instructors, we know the students so well. Like we know how you work, we know who you work well with, we know how you are under pressure, we know where your skills lie, and we have a big part in choosing kind of where people go and what's going to be appropriate. So if you know you're a person at the end of the 3 months where you're like, okay, I really want to have more time with XYZ in my internship so that I feel really confident, we can take that information and apply that to the choices that are kind of helping you get matched properly. That sounds, yes, it's like Learn Tinder, basically. It's job Tinder. And we are the algorithm. Well, we were, I am not, Sarah is, but but if that's something that you're worried about, like that's something that you can tell your instructors, like, hey, I want to make sure I have more time with this. And they will definitely take that into consideration when matching you. Because the companies that Learn sends you with, like they understand the expectations. Like they know what level you're at technically. They know what sort of projects that they should assign to you. They're not going to, well, they shouldn't just throw you into the deep end. Like they've been vetted, they've been onboarded, they've had expectations set for them before they even met any of you guys. So trust that we have really great companies that, I keep saying like in the present tense, but Learn has really great companies that they pair with. So I wouldn't worry too much, but yeah.
Rachel's in the back in Zoom and feeling the Learn vibes.
I kind of had a unique experience at my internship. Well, maybe not, but I didn't have an existing project that I was working on. They had me make a Slack bot. So that entailed like spinning up a Node.js server, which was definitely different for me, but it had the benefit of being like a blank slate that I could just work with, and the Slack documentation is really good. So I was fortunate in that sense. So I can't speak to that as much in terms of onboarding, but I didn't know like Node.js pretty much at all, just very vaguely from like the NPM processes. So it was a little bit different, but it was a good project.
For me, my internship was with a company, Zito in San Diego, that at the time did mob programming, pair programming, something like that. So on the data team, we had 3 people, including me. And if you're familiar with the concept, they basically just had me sit at the keyboard and type what they wanted me to do. That's what I got paid to do that for 3 months. So it's not too bad, but it was actually a really good learning experience because for my colleagues, they actually said why they were doing what they wanted me to type. So, you know, we're gonna type out this and, you know, there's different ways you can do X, Y, and Z, but we're gonna go with Y because it is more efficient than X or something like that. And I want to say it really accelerated my learning experience. And it's exhausting. It is exhausting listening to people nonstop. I'm an introvert, so that was just like, by the end of the day, I was exhausted. I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I have a roommate. I'm going to acknowledge that he's not there. I just don't want to talk. Like, it was so exhausting, but I learned so much. And I definitely agree that, you know, the companies are set at the correct expectation in terms of, you know, the skill set that you have. Learn does an amazing job talking to them, setting the correct expectations and whatnot. And some companies have different onboarding internship experiences than other. This is also something that you can try to filter out yourself when you know, look at these companies and figure out what kind of internship program are they expecting to have? Is it, you know, pair programming? I know some companies do it online. So that may be a possibility, you know, during this pandemic. If that's something that you would like to do, you know, as a learning experience, instead of tackling a project by yourself, you know, see if any of the companies with internships have that as an offer or as an option. So it's definitely a different learning internship experience. But, you know, I really enjoyed it a lot.